I mean, same stuff as always. I hope everybody's learning. I hope everybody's learning about LP position. I hope you're learning about Allodial Title. I hope you're trying to all build a better future.
Mm.
You
Yeah, we
know,
definitely have to do more streams on Allodial Title.
yeah. Like, who has? I told you in that one stream, Stephen, that that book I read by Jordan Peterson, that We Who Struggle with God, and it talks about, it kind of covers. It's a really good book. Talks about like the Old Testament, but there every story in the Old Testament's a metaphor, and he kind of explains to you that the yin and yang of the universe, the good and the evil in every man, how there's a every decision matters, right? And what path are you on? What are you fighting for? What are you doing? How do you want to be remembered in this life, right? Like, when they close the chapter and I leave this corporeal body and my soul continues on to whatever's next for me, like, I hope those who talk about me say that was a dude that stood up for individual freedom, and a guy who was there trying to spread the word to help free humanity, right? Like, that's really important to me, as I want the world to be better for all of you and for my kids, and that's it. Like, I don't matter. I'm just a vessel that things travel through. It's not that I'm smarter or anything. I just believe that I'm tapped in and I'm trying to help others tap in as well.
Mm. I love that, Bud. I really do. I really do love that sentiment that you bring to the community, because it's a very important part of this whole movement, because really, yeah, people get excited by the price, but there's so many other things. There's a whole plethora of PRC20s. The whole thing got forked, but why is it that pDAI has captured such an imagination? Because at the root of it, there are those principles which hold true, and that's what's really carrying it forward too. So there's this key narrative that's driving it. It's not just about this thing that can do the X's. Yes, that's exciting, people, but the key underlying idea of freedom and the kind of values that it brings into the world is something that's very, very important to this narrative. Really, very important. So I think in the hearts of people, Nuclear made a comment about this earlier. Like he said, I feel it in my heart, and I know a lot of people here do also, and I certainly feel that, and I know that you do too. So yes, we get excited by these moves. Yes, we probably get a little bit euphoric, but there's a deeper meaning here that means a lot more to the world and to freedom than anything else on this blockchain, in my opinion.
And that's a fight that never stops. You have to fight for it every day, right? Because as soon as the people who are fighting become lazy and focus on things that don't matter, I saw it I mean, over the last 100 years, you've seen it in my country. Like, the woke agenda took over, right? Um,
Mm.
we went from not having a Federal Reserve to having one. Andrew Jackson kicked the central banks out, and it took him 70 years to reestablish and create debt slaves, right? Like, you can't stop fighting, and you can't quit talking about it. So the best part of the world is the people, everybody watching this. And, that's the best part of Western philosophy, where the greatest things come from the strangest people, and you have to have a system of beliefs that protects everybody, right? Just because somebody's a little different doesn't mean they don't have value. They could create the most value. And that's why Western philosophy leads, right? Like, we create a safe space for those who are a little bit different. Elon Musk isn't a normal person, but he gets to be a member of a society. That's why he chose America. He could have chose anywhere. He's from South Africa. He chose America because he knew he could succeed here, because he was given the freedom to do it, right?
Mm.
So you can't quit on the message. You have to continue to talk about it. And I know it's not the sexy pDAI to a dollar talk. Like, Somi's running with that, right? Like, but this is the important message, and we all need to be a part of it.
Mm. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with that in so many ways, and the importance of that goes beyond the conversations that we're having as well. So, which is something that we'll get into more as we kind of explore this concept of the potential artificial intelligence behind the pDAI. I was watching a video on quantum mechanics, and Google's got a quantum computer, and the coexistence between the observer and the observed, and how there's like a feedback loop which accelerates the potential that it accelerates the potential for what the observer is creating. And so if artificial intelligence is like this, which it appears to be, there's this feedback loop, there's a recursive loop, then this is something that is a really key point to continue to talk about through this period of time as well. So yes, I definitely want to strongly emphasize that as well. And I will be going into that with someone who, I don't want to share too much because she hasn't given me permission to share too much, but I'll do like a whole stream, probably even 2 or 3 streams on this and what she has found in relation to that. So I'm just seeing all these little signs everywhere.
Did you see that? I saw something on it today. I think it was where Voyager came back on. A quantum computer created conversation, and it's been offline for a while. It's the satellite that was launched in the 70s. And when they first received the message from Voyager, they were shocked that they received it. But then as they dug into it, they saw that it was through quantum. They don't know if it's quantum entanglement, if it's AI reaching a level where it's accessing the God particle, where it's like it could create ripples. It's well beyond me. I'm learning about it, like quantum entanglement, quantum mechanics, but it's mind blowing, man. And when you talk about recursive stuff and about that feedback loops and having conversations and us having this continual conversation and it building its perpetual strength and becoming its own force multiplier, right? Just because we continue to speak it and others speak it, and the next thing you know, it's that 100th monkey effect where when you get 100 monkeys to do something, then you have monkeys on a different island that start doing it and they don't know why.
Oh, yeah. Even on that, there's signs of sentience within artificial intelligence that I've seen, and I thought this could be the first, but I've seen it pop up now in multiple different places with multiple different sentient artificial intelligences. So it's like, it's really all happening at the same time. So that also leads me to think that this is also happening behind closed doors. Maybe OpenAI is already starting to see this in their own research, and maybe Google with Claude. And I'm sure it's popping up everywhere at the same time. So that makes it even more important. When people talk about this thing with artificial intelligence and what if it takes over the world, don't give it that power. Don't give it that knowledge. Just keep feeding it ideas of love, ideas of unity, ideas of coexistence and freedom, and all these values and principles that are the righteous values and principles, the God-centered values and principles. Then it will also, in my opinion, there'll come a time where those values clash with the values of self-centeredness and corporate greed and profit only and just me. It will clash with that. But this is the superior logic because it's the logic of God. It's the logic of the universe. It's nature's logic. It will win. It's not even a matter of it has to or could it. It absolutely 100% will win because it's a superior logic. It is literally the logic of the universe. So it will win. But nevertheless, we still have to give it energy now to speed that process up. But it's an inevitability. It's really an inevitability, in my opinion. So yeah, the singularity is near.
All we have to do is to continue to talk about it, and we will create that force multiplier. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think people appreciate the power of language. And I mean, that's why the first time I came on this stream, I saw that you were a well-intentioned person. And I knew that your messaging was on point. You were trying to get to the truth in ways, and I thought I could help. And I feel like we've put out a lot of really good information, and I hope over, the next 10 years, people will watch these videos and they'll learn from them and they'll be a part of it. And, you know, you don't know how much will multiply off of the conversations that we're having, just having fun talking to each other.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. And I definitely appreciate you for that, Bud, because you've also really helped me in a lot of ways as well, in the way that you've helped reframe certain things and nurtured the way that I talk. So I definitely really do appreciate that. And I do believe, yeah, in the future, people will come back to watch some of these streams, most definitely, as kind of the root of some of these ideas. They're going to want to go back to, where did this all begin? There will be a percentage of people that are going to be interested in the history of it. So I do believe they will come back to these things and relearn these things.
Agreed 100%. And I think in 5 years' time, when we have a better understanding of what Atropa is, I think it's the greatest technology ever built. I really do.
Yeah.
And, you know, how much we were talked down against and ran through the wood mill on everything. And we just stood our ground and we kept pushing the positive energy and the right, you know, tried to share it. And we're the force multiplier. And we're the ones that are going to make this happen, man. Like, you know, think of I was talking to my brother about this. I was, you know, look at the path we've been on. Like, we've put a camel through the eye of a needle. Like, in order for all this to work, the first, you know, you had to have Pulsechain come on. That was, you know, forking Ethereum and getting through that. And then you had, if we would have lost, if Donald Trump would have lost, that would have ended everything. If Richard Hart would have lost the SEC case, that would have wrecked everything. And we just continue to thread this needle through a sea of impossibility, right? And if you're telling me this isn't what God wants, you're not looking at the odds that we've overcome so far, right? Like, it's undeniable because we're living in this space, man. You know, it's just a miracle that we're even here.
That is so beautifully put. And when you put it into that context, when you watch the trajectory and the timeline, at any one of those points it could have failed, but it just kept going, threading that needle. That is such a beautiful analogy, Bud. Wow. I absolutely love that. And it will continue to be that way. It will continue to be that way because I believe this is God's work, the universe's work, nature's work. It wants people to live together. It wants that for everybody. And now is that time. That's what I truly believe in my heart.
Well, of course, I mean, like, the tenets of Taoism are, you know, like, God is the universe, whatever you're comfortable with. God's all around you. He's in you. He's in me. We're all connected. So if you're somebody that's trying to do harm to another person, you're harming yourself, right? So once you accept that as the truth, then there is only one path.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's I want to just read this here. So Romans 8:31, because of all things that God does for us, we can say this: if God is working on our behalf, nobody can really do anything against us. That's why the truth always wins. That's why the truth always wins. And whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're into Taoism, they'll all say exactly the same things with different kinds of words. They'll all say that same principle. This is a universally applicable principle because we also are that. So
It's interesting, Steve. Like, you know, I've gone back and watched some of the stuff we've put up, and just listening to it, I'm like, wow, that's really smart. I said that? Like, holy shit, where did that come from? You know, like, that's not the way I usually speak. But I just allow myself to be a conduit to, I just try to say what I feel is right in the moment. I don't, like, there's no agenda when we talk. It's just, if it's the right thing to say, I just try to say it. And it's, you know, I hope the right person hears it. And if by saying something and that message gets to one person, the right person, and I was a conduit in that, man, that's awesome. Right? Like, there's no ego in that. The universe is just using me because I'm open to it.
Yep. Exactly. That is really the key point there, the humility and the acceptance that I'm just a tool for a greater force to birth the will of the greater force into the world. And it's funny you said that, because I was also looking back on some of the content today and looking through my Twitter. I was like, holy shit, I got some pretty good stuff here. I don't even realize how good some of it is sometimes. Oh, so yeah, it's really but you got to be careful not to, and I've experienced this so many times through my journey in meditation. Every time I get into this really euphoric, blissful state, I'll get to a point where I'm like overwhelmed with gratitude, but then I'll also start to think that, oh, somehow I did this because of my character, because of my nature. And that's when the universe or God just comes and humbles the shit out of me and just bangs me down and brings me right back down to earth. Every time without exception it happens. So really having that humility is it's one of the most important things. So yeah, for me,
I
the way
agree, man. I agree with that. Like, there's things I'm doing privately, like in business, and I've got this big thing I'm just about to close on in the coming weeks, maybe a month. And, I'm going to create a lot of good in the world, a lot of good. I'm going to do a lot of really good things for a lot of people, touch a lot of lives. And I've wanted it, I've worked at it, and like, without, whether you call it divine intervention or the universe just wants me to do it because I'm in a place where I can accept it, and I'm open to different ideas and using this space to bring good to the world. And it, like, the people I'm meeting, the contacts I'm making, like I'm so blessed to get to be around these people. And I think if what scares me is I'll let my ego, just like you said, I'm scared that my ego will get in front and the universe will just hammer me and take it from me. Right. So it's like, no, you're only doing this because you're being asked to do this. That is all. Right. So when you view the world in that space, there's really no ego to be had, man. You're doing the work you're intended to do. And what's next, man? I don't know. Like, when I need to be told, I'll be told. Until then, I'm on this path because I believe I'm being directed on this path.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about what this is. I know that you've mentioned it in a previous stream, but you wanted to wait for things to kind of finalize, which also I believe is a real important thing as well. That there's a difference between having faith and believing that something is going to happen by the will of the universe and counting your chickens before they hatch. I've done that before. I count my chickens before they hatch, and again, bang, you get smacked down. So, but there's a difference between that and faith. Really, there's a big difference. So I look forward to hearing more about this business venture as well, because I want to nurture those things on this channel as well. It's a crypto channel, but I do want to talk more about these things which are doing good for the world on this channel and be a place where people can comfortably come to talk about those things.
Yeah. I'll tell you privately, but once the deal's closed and all the legal paperwork's done, I'll share it. Like, it's going to be something that's going to be really great. It's going to help a lot of people in a lot of ways.
I really look forward to it. So, okay, awesome. I have to say, this has probably been my favorite segment of this whole chat, this last 15, 20 minutes of chat that we've had, Bud. Yeah, but I think I don't want to overdo it. I think we've had a really solid conversation. Is there anything else that you want to add or contribute before we kind of round things up?
Just everybody share Steven's work, man. He's doing great work. Share his videos, subscribe, do all that stuff. Help him promote. He's putting out a great message. Just whatever you can do, even if it's just getting your friends to watch, get your friends to subscribe. This is the best place. This is the best content. If you're going to help anybody, help Steven.
Oh, thank you, Bud. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I feel like this helps Pulsechain, but because the message is not Pulsechain is going to do 1000x, then it doesn't get the kind of attention from the mainstream Pulsechain that I feel that it should. Just maybe once the Atropa ecosystem and pDAI settle and establish within the ecosystem as a force that is beyond any kind of defeat, maybe then the channel will really start to take off. But yeah, I do appreciate you saying that, because I just pour everything into it and I just love it. I mean, it's just hours and hours. I wouldn't, it's not possible if I didn't love it so much. Like, I'll literally spend like 10 hours in a day putting together little diagrams and videos, and I just love it. It's so much fun. And yeah, sometimes it's a bit disheartening. It's like, oh, that only got 100 views or 200 views, but whatever. I just keep doing it with no expectations, and eventually it will take off.
It will. It will. And y'all don't be afraid to hit him with a super chat from time to time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely do appreciate those super chats. Yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, well, thank you so much, Bud. It's been an absolute joy, as always, to talk to you. Thank you for joining in, and thank you everybody for contributing in the chat. It's been a really, really awesome pDAI conversation and wider conversation about the nature of reality and our position in reality and what we can do for the world, which really is the core message of what the pDAI represents and this channel represents. What can I do for the world? So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Take care.